3 mistakes you may be making using AI as your business partner. After using AI for several years, I recently made a discovery that was pretty enlightening. Now, I think we all talk about having a human in the loop and having judgment. These are the 3 mistakes I made that I want to make sure that you don't fall into this trap. The first one was this. I was using a custom GPT that was designed really to just validate a niche for a YouTube channel. That was its primary focus. Now, I used it for everything, validating the niche, title ideas, thumbnail text ideas, video description, all the settings to upload to YouTube Studio. And I had a really good workflow for that. I would run this all through that custom GPT. Then I would ask that same question of Claude, take the Claude response, put it back into GPT, and it was great because it would say, wow, I really like what Claude did here, and would make a hybrid output, maybe a recommendation on a description for a video. And that workflow was going great. And then when I was about 44 videos deep, I started to look at the length of some of the descriptions, and they were very lengthy. But my thought was, well, this will be good for YouTube to have a better idea of video content and finding the right audience and things. So I just went with it. And then at some point, I think I asked that GPT, and it had said, well, I was designed to validate the niche. And when I looked at the outputs weren't bad, but that stuck in the back of my mind. I kind of knew that. It was designed for this one function to validate the niche. And here I am throwing everything else on it. It's as if though you had an employee or an assistant that was an expert in one specific area, and maybe that's search engine optimization, but you're throwing human resource questions at it. You're throwing legal questions at it. You're throwing paid search, all these different things, like a catch-all for absolutely everything. So that was number one. Using a custom GPT beyond its skill set. That was number one. Number two was, I think, just trusting it 100%. Now, not in everything, and over the past years, I never would do that. In this case, I gave it more weight because I thought, well, I'm new, I'm a beginner. Even though this was maybe used for YouTube niche validation, it has to know more than I do about this stuff, so I'm going to lean towards that being the accurate, right answer. So that was something about not trusting my own judgment. That was number two. So number one, using that custom GPT beyond its expertise. Number two, not using my own judgment. And you're going to find this as you progress down your path and whatever it is that you're creating. Maybe it's the layout of a thumbnail, maybe it's a title, maybe it's thumbnail text. And when you challenge it, sometimes it comes back and says, you know what, I think you're right. Yeah, I think what you had is right. And when you do that enough, I think you'll start trusting your own judgment. So that was number two. Number three, and this was an interesting one. So recently started using vidIQ, which I highly recommend. One of the things in vidIQ, and its AI even mentioned, hey, those other tools are great, and vidIQ has access to your YouTube data once you make that connection. So we're basing what we're recommending off your real data and off of YouTube data. And it seems very obvious, right? Where I made the mistake is trusting AI and all the various platforms is all knowing and being more expert than maybe a specialized tool like a vidIQ. So think about that, and you've probably seen other YouTube videos talk about that, like, man, do not rely on all of that 100%. You've got to use your own judgment and due diligence. A big one, and this is a cool one using vidIQ if you haven't used it already. I wasn't aware that you can make not only that connection, well, I was aware you can get your YouTube Studio data connected with vidIQ. I wasn't aware that you can make changes to titles and descriptions in vidIQ and push those live through vidIQ, which is awesome. If the video is public, it makes a connection via API and makes that, which I thought was phenomenal, which I never heard anybody mention. That in itself blew my doors off in the first 20 minutes of using it. But one of the first tasks we gave it was cleaning up those descriptions. And I should have known, because I'm like, man, these are really long descriptions from Claude and ChatGPT, and they were both in agreement on it. Yet in my gut, I'm like, man, these are long. These are like blog posts. These seem like stories. But then my thought was like, well, that'd be more data for YouTube. But the gut instinct said, man, I've never seen anyone written this long. I've never seen these big stories written. So we went through on all 44 and using vidIQ made those changes. So those are the three mistakes that I made. So one, if you have a custom GPT, find out what the scope of its skill set is and maybe not stretch beyond that. Number two, use your own judgment and things. Use your own gut instinct. If something doesn't look off, question it and have that conversation back and forth with AI. And then number three is having a specialized AI such as vidIQ in this particular YouTube example, and that data connection is going to be so huge and such a huge advantage. So those are the three mistakes I made, even after using AI for several years, that I don't want you to make, so you don't have that extra work of going back and creating what you've already created. So I thought that was a big learning lesson, wanted to share with you. Have an amazing day. We'll talk again soon. It's great having AI as your business partner. The next video I'm going to talk about is the huge advantages to having it as your AI business partner. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks again for being here. We'll talk with you soon. Thanks.